everyone, my name's Miranda and welcome to the final day of Hunger Games week because Mockingjay Part 2 is actually out today. Like, you could go see it early if you wanted to tonight, and I am so excited. It has been years in the making, and because the finale is tomorrow, today I am here to review Mockingjay Part 1, which is the predecessor to this, and if you're watching the movie tomorrow, I definitely recommend you go watch Mockingjay Part 1 tonight. And Mockingjay Part 1, I have to say, if you saw my book review on Mockingjay, Mockingjay wasn't my favorite book. I felt like a lot of it was tedious and slow-paced, so to find out they were making it into 2 movies, I was like, what the frick are we going to do with this book to make it 2 movies and make it interesting? And I have to say, I think the 2-movie thing, it's just a money play. Like, there's no arguing that to me. Like, Harry Potter, I can understand where it was so much that, yeah, they kind of needed to make 2 movies. But ever since then, I feel like everyone else just used it as a marketing ploy and as a money ploy. That being said, I feel like the writers, the producers, the director, the actors, they did the best they could with what they had. Like, this wasn't going to be anything spectacular, and I knew that walking in because a lot of what they were taking from was the first half of the book, and the first half of the book, not much really happens. Like, you learn about Peeta's fate, but that's really about it. And a lot of the action is saved for the latter half of the book, which is going to be the movie that comes out tomorrow. So I walked into Mockingjay Part 1 like iffy because I really liked Catching Fire. I thought it was an amazing movie, but at the same time I just knew that Mockingjay didn't need to be 2 movies and that Mockingjay wasn't that great a book to begin with, so I was just expecting it to not be as great as I wanted it to be. And I have to say, for the most part, it was way better than I thought it was going to be. Like, don't get me wrong, it's definitely no Catching Fire, but for what they had to do and how they had to deal with it, they did an amazing job, if that makes any sense. It's just they didn't really have a lot to work with, I feel like, in the first part, like especially tension or action or anything like that, and what they did was really amazing. I feel like so much of it hinged on just like the little details and everything, and this was really a movie I feel like you wouldn't enjoy unless you were invested in the series. Like, if you were just going to see it as a movie, I think you wouldn't appreciate it as much, because what made it really great in my mind was the connections to the previous 2 books, and also like the things they were setting up for the payoff in the next movie. So really this movie is like a giant setup, but at the same time it was still a really good setup. I think because we didn't have Peeta in it as much, it also allowed us to develop more characters otherwise. I mean, especially Gale, who's always kind of been pushed aside in favor of Peeta. We definitely saw like a new side to Gale, and we also got to see more of Katniss's relationship with Prim, just because Peeta was kind of in the back of everyone's mind. And I do have to say that the scenes with Peeta were pretty entertaining. Like, they didn't make me gasp or anything until the end. The end scene was so flippin' amazing when he's just like deranged and he looks like that skeleton thing from The Last of Us, and he's just like, ah! The only thing that would have made that better in my mind is if Gale was the one that hit him with the metal tray, because that just would have been satisfaction for Gale, like, ba-choom! Really the biggest thing that I love about this movie is the Hanging Tree song, because that scene when Katniss starts singing the Hanging Tree song, and then you see them put it into the propaganda, and then you see those people singing it as they go to blow up the water towers, that scene, like, I remember like sitting up straighter in the movie theater and being like moved to the scene, because like it was for the first time I feel like where I saw what everyone else had been saying, where I saw how Katniss was affecting these people and how these people were finally rebelling against all that they had been oppressed by and all that they had been held down by, and how they're uniting under Katniss. And I thought it was so moving. Like, I still think about that scene, like when I'm like, it's so stupid, but when I'm like alone at night just like getting ready for bed, like that scene will pop into my head sometimes, and just how moving and how empowering it was. I absolutely love that scene. And another scene that I really like is when Gale and everyone were going to rescue Peeta, because I felt like it gave a really good like emotional complexity to Gale that we hadn't seen before, where he's almost like sacrificing his happiness and his wanting to be with Katniss to try and get Peeta back, because he sees how she's falling apart without Peeta, and he sees that as much as he wants to be and as much as he tries to be, he can't be there for her like Peeta is. Peeta provides like this emotional support that he just never has been able to. You just see like on his face, Liam Hemsworth did an amazing job playing with the emotions without speaking, and especially after when Katniss ran up to him and thanked him for getting Peeta back, he was just like yep, it's okay. Like, she hugged him and he was just kind of like tired and just removed from the situation. I definitely feel like it's a signal, a change in Gale, and I feel like it's gonna definitely add to the second movie that we're going to see with what happens with Gale. But then I also really liked how we were kind of reminded how Katniss does care for Gale, because I feel like a lot of times he's shoved under, especially the scene where he was telling her that he knew she would kiss him when he was explaining everything about District 12 because he was in pain. So I feel like this movie was kind of showing more than the book did how Gale was starting to realize that he wasn't going to be the one to end up with Katniss. But at the same time, we also did get reminders of how Katniss does care for Gale, especially I like the scene when they were all going to rescue Peeta, and the comms cut out and Katniss just like breaks down and starts like hyperventilating and is like, did I lose them both tonight? Like, that line killed me because she just kept saying, did I lose them both tonight, over and over again, and I was like, please stop, honey, you're breaking my heart. Like, it was so sad. Overall, I feel like the best parts of the movie were definitely towards the end. After, I would say, like the hanging tree and then the rescue of Peeta and then the end scene, those were definitely the best parts, but you could also see like what scenes were fillers, and it got very formulaic where it was like Katniss would be like, I can't do this, and then they'd be like, okay, we'll send her to battle, and then something would happen and she'd make this like rousing speech off the cuff and move all these people. Like, that happened like 3 or 4 times to the point where you're like, okay, we need to find something new to do, because every time she's like, I can't make a speech, like, I don't believe her anymore. Something's gonna happen. She's gonna be like, I can make a speech now. So overall, like I said, not my favorite movie in the series, but not my least favorite movie in the series. I liked it a lot better than the first one, so I would definitely give it probably 4 out of 5 stars. And like I said, if you just look at it kind of almost as a filler, like, you can't look at it as its own separate movie because you're just going to be disappointed and be like, there's no point to this movie. If you do, you have to look at it kind of as the beginning of the end, literally. So if you watch it that way, it's a very, very good movie, and it definitely adds some good complexities, especially to Gale, I feel like, because Gale, I walked out of this movie feeling bad for Gale, and that has never before in my life happened to me. So overall, I'm just really, really excited to see the movie. I mean, a year ago, I saw Mockingjay Part 1, and I was like, I can't wait for Mockingjay Part 2, and now it's tomorrow, and I'm so, so excited. So thank you guys all so much for sticking with me throughout this Hunger Games week. And be sure to come back sometime in the near-ish future. I don't know when I'm going to have my review, but I will definitely post a review of Mockingjay Part 2. I am so, so excited, and if you've seen the movie, just tell me what you thought. No spoilers about anything, but just tell me what you thought. Unless a certain character doesn't die, then please tell me that, so I know that I don't need to bring like a purse full of tissues. Thank you guys all so much for watching not only this episode, but this whole Hunger Games week. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and want to see more reviews and everything, and also subscribe to my channel down below to be told when I make all sorts of new videos. Thank you guys again all so much for watching, and I will see you next time, hopefully with a Mockingjay Part 2 review. Bye!